All right, so welcome back. This is the Math Dealer here, and today's second video is dealing with a whole polynomial unit review. So I'm really hoping you already watched part one, and now we're going to look at part two. Part two says now you are given information and you're asked to factor it. Okay, so what the information I'm actually given is that I'm given a root. I know that -2 is a root. So I can actually use this root to depress this equation. Now, I'm not trying to make it sad. No, math is actually not a sad thing, right? But what I am trying to do is bring this cubed to a quadratic. Because like we've been saying in class, if I can get myself down to a quadratic, sometimes I can factor, sometimes it makes more sense to me. All right, so take your -2. And let's start depressing. I have a 5, I have a -1, I have a -18, and I have an 8. Okay, so here we go. We're going to drop it, then we're going to run it. And what am I doing? I'm doing a synthetic division. Okay, if you don't know what I'm doing right here, maybe you might want to go back and check out my other video on synthetic division. Okay, so what I've done, take -2, depress the equation. So now my function is actually saying 5x squared minus 11x plus 4. Now, if I can factor this, I'm going to do so. All right. But you might be realizing, wait a minute, I can't factor that because when I multiply those two together, I get 20x squared. And by the way, there aren't any factors of 20 that are going to make an 11. So this is factored. 5x squared minus 11x plus 4 can't be factored anymore. I do know this was a root, like we said before. So this becomes x plus 2 would have been that factor. And then, of course, 5x squared minus 11x plus 4 is the other factor. And that's it. We are done. This is what f of x equals in factored form because I can't factor 5x squared minus 11x plus 4. All right. So that's done. Call it a day. Moving on. All right. Now, let me slide over to this one. Okay. Again, I am given a root. If you are, and the reason why you know you're given a root, by the way, is because it's equal to 0. If that said f of -1/2 equals like 3, yeah, that ain't going to help me much, okay? But f of -1/2 equals 0, okay? That means you have a root. So take this and depress it. Be super, super careful. I am missing an x squared term. So I need to put a 0 in that place. I'm hoping you remember that. And if not, hey, I just reminded you. All right. So now here we go. I'm going to drop. I'm going to run. I'm going to drop. I'm going to run. I'm going to drop. I'm going to run. I'm going to drop. And then, of course, half of -54, by the way, is a positive 27. Then I get 0. Okay. Now, I have a degree of 4. That means this one is my degree of 3. So I have a 2x cubed, 0x squared, 0x minus 54. But check this out. I can factor this. I can factor it. When I factor this, I factor out a 2. I'm left with x cubed minus 27. Whoa, oh, wait a minute. You might be remembering that can be factored. Difference of two cubes, I know. Super fun is what I gotta say. So difference of two cubes, a cubed minus b cubed. The a is my x. The b is my 3. So now I'm just plugging it in and kicking it out. Here we go. A minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Where's my b squared? B squared is 9. Sorry about that. A little tripped up there, right? Okay. So what does this mean? This means that I have x minus 3. I have x squared plus 3x plus 9. Fair enough. And don't forget, I have this guy over here. Okay. So I have my factors to be, what do I have? I have x, let me just write this out. X equals -1/2. Remember that? So I have 2x plus 1 is that factor. And then I have an x minus 3, and I have an x squared plus 3x plus 9. All righty. So that is true. That is not true, but that is how we are factoring this polynomial. I really hope that makes some sense. Okay. Go ahead and rewind the video. Go back if you have to. Some of you might be kind of wondering, like, wait a minute, what did you do with this 2? Okay. Well, remember, this 2 is actually being taken care of with this guy right here. Okay. Because it's x equals -1/2, right? And then what I'm doing is if I multiply this thing by 2, I'm going to get my 2x plus 1. Okay, so that's kind of just on a side note. All right. Okay, this is the Math Dealer signing out. Arrivederci.